thing that I'd really like to talk on, there's a YouTube video out there. There's an article in the San Francisco Examiner. Eric Barajas, a Bay Area-based Uber driver who works in San Francisco, was at this. He was basically invited to like talk, ask questions, type of deal. Like they had people there from Airbnb. They had David Plouffe, who worked on the Obama campaign. There was a lot of people there from the sharing economy, tech companies, stuff like that. And he got up and he asked a question. And let's see. But I mean, so Barajas had a chance to ask a question to Plouffe. And this is, what the Examiner quoted him as saying was, "I just want to know how you guys are helping the economy when there are full-time drivers like me who are struggling to make ends meet, barely making minimum wage," he said. On Craigslist, Uber in the past has said drivers could make $35 an hour, Barajas said. But that isn't near what he earns. And also, it probably said up to $35 an hour. So they can just legally, they could say up to $100 an hour, because I do have $100 hours. But, so this guy asked that question to Plouffe, and, he responds, and it's like, I'd like to get with you and talk to you about how we can make you more money and stuff. So the next day rolls around, and he goes online, and, we're kind of paraphrasing right here, trying to give you the gist of the story. Guy can't get rides. His phone is on, and what I believe someone said is one of the biggest places that it surges more often than just about anywhere else. So maybe call it the mecca of surge zones, right? This guy's in it. His phone's doing nothing. It's just sitting there like a freaking brick. No requests. Nothing's coming. So his buddy who's making the YouTube video puts his phone down beside it. And so there's these two phones. You'll have to go watch the YouTube video. And the guy's phone on the left, he turns it on. Within a minute, beep, beep, gets that normal Uber beep. It's going off, right? And it's surging, like at a 2.1. And he's been sitting there this whole time with nothing. The guy, goes past it, next ride comes in. Like, this guy's just getting hit after hit after hit. The phone on the right, just sitting idly.
So and all of this is because he asked that question at the thing the day before.
Basically, he embarrassed Plouffe, by saying, "You guys are fucking liars," which for the most part, if the shoe fits, go ahead and slide that bitch on. That's what happens. And so they went in there and they didn't deactivate him, but they put him on hold. Like the surges weren't showing up, nothing. So he's just driving around with a brick. This guy's got kids to feed, and there's nothing. It did get resolved.
Since we started doing this, I've noticed a definite drop in our rides.
Damn it. Clinic must be following.
It must be something.
The guy ends up getting it resolved because basically, I guess, something like he said, the Examiner called, I believe it was the Examiner, don't quote me. The newspaper called, Uber to try to get a quote, and within the hour, his phone is now receiving requests again. They try to pass it off something like a messed up document or something like that.
But if you have a messed up document, it just tells you, it won't even let you log into the app.
Yeah, basically what's going on is Uber said, you asked us questions, now we're basically we're gonna try and put you in your place. We're gonna shut you up. And there's so many drivers that are so quiet and timid that if this happened to them, or they don't know any better because maybe they're older, and they're not as good with technology. And they just screwed them.
Yeah.
It's just, so when people say Uber doesn't manipulate surge, and they don't manipulate who gets rides, and they don't manipulate this, that's all they do is manipulate.
If they can cap the surge, or they can cancel the surge, they can manipulate said surge. And I think we all have seen that you'll be on, or you'll be there, and all of a sudden you'll see it say like 1.5, and you're like, what? And you sit there, and you're the only car like in the middle of your city. And you don't get one single ride. That's they're just looking to drive people on at that point, and they can manipulate, they can turn it on, they can do whatever they want. They hold the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
That's the way it works. If you piss them off, they will make you pay for it.
Yeah, and Eric, one of the things he said is that they sent him an email confessing that they intentionally put my account on hold, is what he said. The journalist made sure that he verified that before writing about it. And said, once the video launched, they got me back on. You know, I mean, this guy's getting bombarded, but he goes, well, not even when the video launched, but when the journalist called to get his side of the story, Uber said, uh-oh.
No. Hey, Eric, since if you're listening to this, I'm the one who posted as the devil's advocate. I apologize. I was on my iPhone when Facebooking, and I should never do that. And I didn't mean to post as our public persona there, so it was supposed to come from me. But typically, in most situations, I did somewhat peruse the article. There's so many things that come across for me that I don't always get to sit and read everything through, and I apologize for playing devil's advocate that way, but that's typically my role, is I'll look at from both sides and try to say. So I do owe you that apology. So,
and in the future, if you ever want to come on, maybe talk about how life is post this, like 3 weeks down the road, you know, because I still worry for the guy that they go back 3 weeks later and say, you know what, you had too many cancellations on Thursday. We're going to go ahead and part ways with you, because Uber wields the hammer. They have all the power. And if he doesn't want to talk to anybody, I don't blame him either. He probably just wants to go back to making...
just let me make my money and move on.
That's it. Because, like, I don't know if he knows, but the guy has a 4.94 rating. Yeah. So hats off to Eric. That guy fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what market you're in, especially in California, to have a 4.94.
Eric, your rating's much better than mine. It's much better. I scrape your boots, sir.
Right, like this guy should be doing like ratings classes himself.
That's right.
Like, call me.
Yeah.
You know, $20 consultations.
I should subscribe to your podcast, sir.
Yeah, because you got some kick-ass ratings.
Yeah, that whole burning the candle at both ends thing just makes it feel like more of that ride sharing as we know it has about 18 months left in it. I figure 18 months would be the long age. The gold, we've reached the pinnacle. We've reached the top of the Roman Empire, and we are on the fast decline down with ride sharing. I honestly feel, maybe not sharing in general, because you have a hard on for Airbnb and everything else like that.
And like Zipcar, you know, Amazon deliveries, which we need to talk about sometime.
I'd be cool with being a delivery driver. I mean, I've driven
Postmates, DoorDash.
I'm fine with that kind of stuff. You want me to deliver packages for you? It's got to be lucrative, of course, but I mean, those.
I'd rather deliver a package than a person.
Or I'd rather deliver that than food.
Well, that package won't tip me, but maybe the guy getting the package will.
Yeah, but I mean, that's. I see what this is right now on a decline. If they're going to keep treating it this way and try to consolidate it more into things and watering the whole thing down, and you know, trying to, it just feels like it's in a constant state of change where.
Right now, they're trying to fill the arc.
Yeah.
Come on, everybody get on. Everybody buy into Uber. Pack it out, every corner. You know, we need as many drivers as possible. Now we're going up. Now we're full. And now we're going to start coming back down. I think your 18 months is not accurate. I would say like 4 years. So that's 48 months.
Here's my
maybe.
deal. You know, I constantly, you know, we've dealt with rate changes and stuff and all this, and they keep dropping and dropping and dropping it. And like we've said before, what were we willing to drive for? What are people willing to drive for? Yeah. And pretty soon it's going to be, you're getting 25 cents a mile. You won't see my ass driving.
No, I'm
Fat
not.
Guys Media will be doing something completely different at that point.
We will be doing everything but Uber.
That's right. But, I mean, that whole thing is, I mean, they're just going to keep doing that until it's just not worth anything. I have never heard anyone say, oh my God, I paid $6 to go home last night. I've never heard anyone say, that's just too expensive.
Right.
I've heard people say, I went from my house to the airport here where I live, and they charged me $40. That's just too expensive.
Right.
I've heard that, but I've never heard anyone say my Uber was too expensive, my Lyft was too expensive. Now, surge pricing, yes, they complain about that, but not normal rate prices.
Right.
And they're getting cheaper. And you and I have talked about this, that you think here in the next few weeks.
I think we got 60 days.
Yeah, before they lower it again. And that means...
I was kind of right about one thing. Like, I thought there was a rate increase incoming around October-ish. Yeah. And I was right. There was a rate increase in October for Uber. Yeah. Not us. Yeah. Like, I missed it because the customers are now paying 60, depending on the market. Some it's 30 cents, some it's 80 cents.
Ours is 65.
They're paying an extra 65 cents more per trip.
No.
You know, like, everything is, you know, stayed the same. They just raised their price. Now what'll happen is they will go, and I really think once winter's in full force, you know, markets can expect to get some more winter warm-up guarantees, and they're going to chop your price. That doesn't come
So the
back.
customer's now paying $1.65 for their safe ride fee, and then Uber's going to go, now let's charge the drivers another 50 cents. You know, take away that other money so we can keep that too.
Right.